So the seconds that just passed, guess what? We're now in a new now.
I like that. Yes.
So I took that and embodied that, and that I carry that in how I try to, approach my life, because that was some real wisdom and some game you gave me. That's some real game you gave me. Shout out to Baba AT. I love you. If you get a chance to see this, I'll probably when I get the link, I'll send it to you. Yeah.
So you've been in the music industry for over 15 years, but yet you still seem deeply committed, authentically, and you have still putting out music. Welcome to the Breaking the Silence podcast. I am your host, Author Nikki Nicole. Here I believe in winning together and creating a safe, supportive space for people to share their stories and start their healing journey. My passion is to help people confront hidden battles, embrace their truths, and take steps towards a more fulfilling life. Every episode is designed to break the silence on topics that often go unspoken, leading to conversations that uplift, inspire, and transform. Join me as we break the barriers and find strength through shared experiences, one story at a time. Welcome back to another episode of Breaking the Silence, where you can unleash your inner voice. I am your host, Author Nikki Nicole, and season 5 is still going with some amazing people taking things to the next level and winning. Over the past few seasons, pain was uncovered, new talent was discovered, and transformation occurred. Every episode broke the silence in some type of way, and I will continue to shine the light even in the darkness, to empower people to rise to the next level. It is time to be heard. It is time to be healed. And it's time to transform. So let's get to the reason why we're here. Today's guest, and I hope I'm saying his name right. I should have asked before I got up here. Today's guest is ReNaaz. He is known as the Gumbo Soul artist, a beacon of inspiration, a man that wears so many hats, from recording artist, composer, arranger, songwriter, producer, poet, and teacher. And he's also an activist. And today he continues to inspire, educate, and uplift souls worldwide. So after his countdown, please welcome this amazing person to the Breaking the Silence platform. How you doing?
Hello. How are you?
I'm doing well.
My sister. Indeed.
Tell everybody a little bit about yourself that I haven't said about you already.
Well, everything that you spoke about. Hello to everybody out there, out there in the cyber world. Everything that you spoke about, I will say the strength and the source of my the expression of my inner voice, the expression of my life, expression of my art, and my work in the community and abroad starts with the power that comes from the Most High. That's what I draw from for everything. Without him, I am nothing. I am dust that goes back to the ground when we return.
Absolutely.
That's it. That's all.
Absolutely. So how did you and music meet?
Well, let's see. I was blessed. I grew up in the hood in Southeast DC, but I was blessed inside my home to have parents who were also artists and activists themselves. My father was also a composer and arranger, and a choral arts instructor. And he was also an arts empowerment activist, as well as my mother, who was also into theater and jazz and African dance. And both of my parents were singers, so I was blessed, even though I grew up, outside is outside, but inside my home, I could beyond blessed to have parents that even in the midst of the conditions of the neighborhood we lived in, they gave me something a little extra to kind of, have an outlet to see the world differently.
Right.
So that's I would say my first inspiration. I grew up in a home where everything from jazz to funk to gospel to R&B. Like I still have vinyl. You can't see it because it's in my studio, my other studio space, but I got a whole wall full of vinyl. You know,
Nice.
um, and I still listen to vinyl. Of course, I've embraced the digital realm as well in this stage, but it started with the vinyl and the cassettes and all of that for me. You know,
That's right.
so I still love the warmth of the vinyl sound. You know.
I love it. I love it. I love old school music. The CDs, the vinyl, the cassette. That's when music was real. That's when music was
Mhm.
timeless, to be
Yes,
honest.
indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
So what's the story behind your stage name?
Okay, so now you just gonna jump into the rabbit hole. I love it. Um, so ReNaaz is a combination of the first letters of my middle name, which is Reginald, the R and the E. So of course my middle name is spelled Reginald. Reginald. Um, and which also speaks to the name that came from my family heritage on my mother's side because I'm half West Indian.
Okay.
You know, but also the Nas, the NAAZ part, the whole name ReNaaz is actually an acronym that the Most High gave me in a dream one time. The acronym stands for revealing. That's the R and the E, revealing. N is naked truth. A is amongst. The other A is all. And the Z is Zion. And then my full stage name is ReNaaz Peoples. So revealing naked truth amongst all Zion's peoples. Zion meaning the Most High. You know. So
I love that. That's wow. That blew my mind. You said it came to you in a dream.
yeah. I'm a dreamer. I'm one of those people who has visions, dreams, all of that. Things come to me and insight that when the Most High wants to reveal things to me, sometimes I hear it in audible sound, but a lot of times he'll show me in dreams or in visions. I'll just see stuff, you know, in the realm of the spirit, and then I'll write it down. Or since I'm a writer, I have the habit of writing things down,
Right.
and then so we can keep record, and then I can say, you can go back and look at it and be like, well, what does that mean? And in my devotion, in my time of prayer and meditation, then he begins to speak to me about why he showed me a thing. And so
Right.
that's where it came from. And so everything you just named about what I do comes from the revealing the naked truth, meaning just bring speaking truth to power, revealing things, from within, transparently from myself, and the things that I see and I journal about in my writing, whether it's through things that I've taught or things that I speak in my music. It's the stripped down truth of it all,
Everything
without
is connected.
yeah, everything connected, without the smoke and mirrors, without the Hollywood, and just straight boom, there it is.
There it is. There it is. So now you describe yourself as the Gumbo Soul artist. Can you explain what this terms mean to you and how it influences your music and your creative process?
Well, like I was sharing before, I grew up with so many different musical and artistic expressions and influences that helped shape my worldview even at a young age. My parents I'm kind of, my story isn't exactly the same as his, but just to give a reference point that probably would make sense to most. I'm like the Tupac kid. I was raised with parents that were activists and, arts educators and people who are all about the struggle. My parents were highly involved in the civil rights movement in the 60s and 70s, the marches, all of that, and then me having the hood experience that kind of shaped from my generation a part of my worldview as well. But it was from a place of how can once I guess I started receive because in your teen years it's all about trying to fit in. It's all about where do I match with what's going on outside. But at the as I began to embrace more of my parents' wisdom around what they were teaching me, I realized I was a revolutionary. And so then it started becoming about speaking truth to power. Also, because I grew up with soul music and the warmth of the vinyl and all of that came from the era that you do just speaking about that had so much timeless everything. I love everything soulful. Anything I do has got to be soul. So because I had so many varying styles that I was exposed to, my mom's side is West Indian, so I was exposed to the reggae and then the jazz, and then my pops was, family is from the South, so he's into, the soul music and the gospel and all of that. And so had such an amalgamation or a melting pot, if you will, or if you want to talk about some good Southern cooking, some gumbo, especially because my parents and my family heritage is both West Indian, Caribbean, and Southern. So I grew up with some gumbo, you know what I
Okay.
mean? you know, um, Eating it, learning about it, smelling it, tasting it. And so the gumbo is basically a way of saying there's different types of soul music. The short way people could kind of grab a hold of it is hip hop, soul, and reggae. So mostly hip hop, soul, and reggae is in the gumbo. That's the mixture what you're getting. Also, what you're getting is the warrior, the healer, and the teacher. That all of these things is me. And so in the gumbo, it's all gonna be soulful, but it's different types of soul.
Different types.
Sometimes the soul gonna be hip hop, sometimes it's gonna be reggae, sometimes it's gonna be just soul music in general. Period. Whether it's R&B soul, uh, prophetic soul, which is just a fancy term of saying soul that comes from being inspired by the spirit of the Most High. So I might say things that come from Him through me as a vessel that He wants the people to hear. Things that encourage, things that empower, things that uplift, things that, like you say on your show, unleashing the inner voice, giving people the permission to be transparent about their struggles, and then how we work through those struggles. How do we heal? How do we grow? How do we manifest greater than where we might be at the present time?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's the gumbo soul. That's all in the gumbo. You hear me?
Versatile artist. I love it. I love it. It's always good to be versatile because that means you can go in different areas and still use your talent. And not
Absolutely.
many people but possess that talent, to be honest, to be able to any genre when they get ready.
Yeah, that I give all praise to the Most High and honor to my people because they made sure that I had a well-rounded, you know, exposure. I didn't just see the four corners of the hood that I grew up in. I saw stuff in my home that made me realize there was more than just trapping and rapping.
Right, right. So you've worked with icons like Cee-lo Green, MosDef. How have these collaborations shaped your growth as an artist and approach to your music after working with them?
I had blessing and like I said, working and touring with some of those greats. They helped me see that it was okay to be different things in one person. Because Mos Def, for example, he's an actor and he's a poet and an MC. He's a thespian, if you will. You know what I mean? But he also, when it comes to the hip hop and expressing, the power of the voice in the street culture and hip hop that comes from Brooklyn, New York, where he's from, he it ain't one of the best to ever do it. And so he can speak to the voice of the streets, but he also can bring in the culture perspective that shows people you can be both. You know, Cee-lo the same way. You know, Cee-lo influenced me differently in the sense that, you know, when I met him, he was so down to earth and he had that whole Southern feel that, you know, that I'm very familiar with. Word to my pop side of the family, you know, just that down country home love, you know, that just real. And he ain't Hollywood at all. Like he'd sit there and have a conversation, like, hey man, what's going on? We'll talk about it. You know, and he's just real cool. You know, and he's a singer, but Cee-lo is also an MC and a poet as well, you know.
Right.
And so, and he speaks truth to power. Like he showed me that it was okay to be from the hood and be a revolutionary at the same time. Because, you know, depending upon the perspective in which you grew up, some people think the two don't mix. But
Right.
how do you express the inner voice of the hood and the struggle of the hood if you don't have no relatability to the hood? And then how do you also show that you can have education and culture and express that as well without people looking at you like you forgot about the hood? And so watching them as my OGs who came before me, you know, I was you know, I'm younger than them, so they, you know, they kind of like the big bros, you know what I mean, that showed me if you
Right.
want to do both, this is a picture of how you can do it, you know.
I love it. So you have like mentors to you, showing you, you know, that hey, you can do it this way, you can do it this way. You still can win each time.
Bingo. And when I saw that, I was like, yeah, that's me. I saw myself in them,
And
you know.
then,
Yep, absolutely. And, you know, word to respecting and giving honor and wisdom to your elders and your generation and your, you know, your even the ancestors who've gone before us were no longer here in physical form. You know, it changed my whole view because growing up in the neighborhood I grew up in, being different wasn't cool.
right,
You know, being intelligent wasn't cool. You
right,
know, being one who seeks to empower and speak their truth wasn't cool. Everybody was trying to fit in. Everybody wanted to go hard. Everybody wanted to be a trapper. Everybody wanted to show how gangster they were. And, you know, there was a period of time where I embraced that at first too, because just, you know, being a young teen trying to find my way. But at a certain point, I realized the Most High created me for something greater. So then it started being, I'm going to be a voice for the hood in a way that's going to empower my people instead of joining the club and just celebrating the darkness and celebrating the low vibration and celebrating the hatred and the murder and the, you know, all the things that ain't going to serve us well. Because, you know, it don't end up but two places, jail
Jill,
or,
I did.
or the cemetery. You know it. You understand? So, yeah.
So we're gonna play a snippet of one of your songs, "Easy Like Sunday Morning." I like that song. And I'm
That's
gonna
the
play
fun. That's
one.
one of my most recent singles that I just dropped. That's the encouragement song for the people. Yeah.
All right, are we gonna let them hear?
You are now listening to the sounds of Mr. One Time. Easy like Sunday morning, yeah. New light, new mercies, thanks for them. In spite of all life challenges, easy like Sunday morning, yeah. My life, my home, my everything, my peace, my joy.
All right, so tell me a little bit about your creative process with that song. How did you come up with the meaning for that song? And why did you
Um. Well, again, word to the OGs and the elders and the old school. I love me some Commodores, you know, and you know, easy like Sunday morning. So that I could say, you know, shout out to the Commodores, shout out to the big homie Lionel Richie. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to you know, for, you know, I guess you can say indirectly inspiring that because I was thinking about that song one day because I love the Commodores. You know what I'm saying? All of their songs, their albums, I got vinyl from them. You know, one of my favorite songs is that one and Zoom and also Jesus Love. You know what I mean? Like the Commodores is everything. You know what I mean? They are everything. You know, even though they're not active as a group in this present era, like you said, their music is timeless. So
time?
that, and I would say just inspiration from the Most High because word again, like I love, by the way, your mantra of the unleash your inner voice, you know, just speaking transparently. I was just going through a tough time on a particular day. And I was just kind of, even though I've been blessed to accomplish and do so much in my career thus far, when you get to the 40s and, the 50s, you start having life reflection moments. Like, what have I accomplished? Where have I been? What have I done? Was it enough? Have I been, an example to my children? Have I, all of that. And, I wasn't quite on that particular day feeling like it was enough. And then the Most High reminded me, it's like, what do you mean? You're enough. The fact that I have you here and you've said and done the things that I already placed you here to do, if you never do anything else in your career, it's enough, because there's people, whether you know it or not, who have been impacted by it.
Yes.
And then it gave me the strength to kind of perk up a little bit and say, you know what? Hey, let's keep at it, And so that was the easy like Sunday morning, because it's the reminder to be encouraged in your journey, to be encouraged, and even from where you are, continue on. If you're still breathing, that means you still have more to do here in this earth realm.
Absolutely.
And celebrate even the small victories around where you have been and what you've done, no matter where you are in your journey, because everyone has value in what they are doing, even if you feel like you haven't always made the best choices. If you're still breathing, start from now.
That's it. That's it. But you know what? People don't realize that we have 24 hours a day.
Come on.
To make a change. And even if you work 10 of those hours, you still got 14 more hours to make a change.
Mm-hmm.
And when we start seeing the value in ourselves and knowing that every single breath that we take counts, because tomorrow is never promised, we will probably hustle a little bit harder when it comes to our lives.
Facts.
And it's just that simple.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I'm really a person that really thinks about the 24 as the 24. That's even down to people that I care about. If I care about you, I can't go in a 24. I can't go over 24 hours without talking to you.
I feel that. If you don't mind, I wanted to share something about that 24 that just came to me. So the number 12 in divine mathematics stands for governmental establishment, meaning what you do. The government stands for a place of governing power, rule, or dominion, if you will. So if you put 12 plus 12 together, what you got?
24.
That means you have double the governmental ability and establishment to take what you have in those 24 and do something powerful with it.
Yeah. But and the people that work from home, they got more power than they know. In the palm of their hands, they got 24 hours. And people, look at me sometimes. I'm a full-time podcaster, and I'm at this computer majority of that 24, trying to make it happen. And you have to put that kind of, if you believe in yourself, everything's going to start with you. And if you don't push yourself out there to do what you got to do, then what you think everybody else is going to think about you?
It's about believing in what the Most High is giving you for you as you. It ain't got to be somebody else's you. It could be just what your you is. Yes. We can have commonalities and similarities and overlaps, but ultimately it's about, what do you believe about you?
Exactly. And everybody has the opportunities to be great. Everybody has the chance to be great, but it's how we move in our lives to get there. It's just that simple. But you can rewrite your story over and over again, and that's what people fail to realize. You may have some detours, you may have some stumbling blocks, but you still can get there.
Yeah, every day is a day of new beginnings, new light, new mercy, new love, fresh fire, fresh oil, however you want to put it. It's if you breathe in the day, that means it's every day is new. I have an elder and a mentor of mine that spoke to me one time. He said, son, every day is now. 20 seconds from now will be now. 3 days from now will be now. because every moment is present. So the seconds that just passed, guess what? We're now in a new now.
I like that.
So
Yes.
I took that and embodied that, and that I carry that in how I try to approach my life, because that was some real wisdom and some game
Some
you
real
gave me.
with.
That's some real
Yes.
game you gave me. Shout out to Baba At. I love you. If you get a chance to see this, I'll probably when
Yes.
I get the link, I'll send it to you. Yeah. Oh.
So you've been in the music industry for over 15 years. But yet you still seem deeply committed, authentically, and you have still putting out music. So what has kept you grounded throughout this journey?
Okay, so first that's God. Secondly, that's my beautiful queen. Shout out to my queen Havila, baby. I love you. She keep me grounded because I'm the free spirited one. She's more like, listen, let's make sure that's a good idea. And she's a creative also herself, but she's definitely the part of me that makes sure that in my movement I'm thinking as the full perspective from a place of wisdom and being wise in how I approach things, what I connect myself to, who I put myself around, what I involve myself in. And then I would say, lastly, would be my children. I have 3 wonderful children, beautiful children. And outside of those first 2 things, they're my why. Beyond the music, they're the reason why I do art, because I want to be an example to them of how to take it, because all of our kids are creatives as well, all 3 of them. I have a son and 2 daughters. Shout out to my babies, Papa love you. Also, my community, my wife and I are involved in community empowerment and in outreach, together, and so the people that we love and on and serve, they keep us on point, and keep us going, because we're an example also to them, from the youngest to the eldest, who see us moving and pushing. We have been placed here as a beacon of hope and light for people to see that you can keep going, you can keep pushing, you keep trying, even if there's some dreams and visions and things you might have laid down because you thought, well, maybe my time done passed. Pick it back up.
That's it.
If you're still breathing, there's still an opportunity to move and shake with it. Don't let nobody tell you it's too late. It's too late if you give up. It's too late if you're no longer breathing. But if you're still breathing and you ain't gave up on that yet, man, come on. Pick that thing up and ride.
But we have to have a why. If we have that why, that is the fuel to our fire. And shout out to your wife, shout out to your kids for keeping you grounded and keeping you going, because you're making music like Sunday morning. That's motivating, still motivating other people out there, reaching other souls out there, and you're out there still continuing to do everything you need to do because of them. So shout out to them. Now, your motto is empowering communities, elevating souls, and envisioning change. That's very, very powerful. Can you break down what each part of that motto means to you personally and how it reflects your life as a whole and the work that you're doing?
3 things: speaking truth to power, and housing and stoking the fire of God. Now, what does that mean? Meaning allowing the spirit of the Most High to be stirred up in you and to release that power and that energy and that spirit into the atmosphere through you as a vessel. So you're elevating souls by the empowerment and the way you speak to people, and also loving on people unconditionally, not being judgmental just because maybe you were able to move a little bit further along in a certain area that someone else is. Reach back and pull them up with you. Don't forget about your people just because you done made it at a certain point, or you done some things where you've been able to evolve into a great space. Teach them how to do that too. because people are looking and watching, whether you know it or not. You never know how you can elevate people, you can inspire people, and also, not just inspiring people to be great at what they do, but showing them some of what you do. Not just giving people fish off of what you have been able to be great at, but teaching them how to fish for themselves.
That's it.
You
That's
know,
it. But that's the thing. People will get into certain places and they're there, and then some people don't want to. They want to do better than you, or they want to. When they get there, they forget about you. But you
yeah,
have to reach back and bring everybody with you because somebody had to get you there. Somebody helped you get there. So now
absolutely.
it's time for you to pay it forward to bring somebody else up with you. But that's the way of the world. The life is life, and people don't think that way. But that's how you continue to grow.
A
Is
lot
you
of times that space is that comes from fear and pride. People are afraid. It's an orphan mentality. And what I mean by that is that, and this is not to bash on or speak on people who might have come from orphanages or, group homes or, things where maybe they had to, find family out of not having family, because I have empathy and compassion for people who did not have that type of home life where they knew who their family was. But what I'm speaking to is most of the time in orphan situations, they fight over food, fight over clothes, fight over whether or not they're going to be noticed, whether or not they can be recognized. They oftentimes struggle with identity and who they are. What do I belong to? So as a people, especially folk that look like us, you already know what we done been through in a number of ways.
yes,
So because of that, there's the fear that if I don't hold on to what I got and try to make it be that it's mine, and I gotta prove that what I got is better than yours, then it's this fear, and then there's a pride. And I'm not talking about pride in the sense of being proud of doing well, but a pride that becomes arrogant and self-serving because they're afraid that I can't share because what would that mean? I might lose what I got. Not recognizing to give is to receive.
amen, amen, amen. That is that's a powerful phrase. To give is to receive. But you always have, that's the thing. If you're blessed, you gotta bless somebody else.
Bing.
Period.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Now, you mentioned that transformative power, the power of music in your own life. Was there a particular song? And everybody has a song that really, really fits with their soul and everything, and the way they move. A song or either artist or either album that has been that impact in your life for change.
I would say, all right, if I can take a liberty in this, I would say I'm gonna give you two songs. One song that came to mind, I'll go. I'll start with my hood bag. Uh, "Refuse Limitation" by Goody Bob. Now, there's many songs before that, like I was sharing with you when I was filling out the little information form. I got so many songs I could name, but it just to kind of keep it simple for the people. "Refuse Limitation" by Goody Mob. That song right there changed my whole life because my perspective, even though I was blessed to have empowerment in my home, just on my own journey, finding my way. Hearing that song, suffering from a severe case of inner city blues. I ain't got no clues which directions I need to choose. This opportunity to gain is all I got to lose. But I just can't settle for this street shorty. I refuse. What? I was like, woo!
Mm.
Man, because that's Cee-lo on the hook. You know what I'm saying? And then I'm sure you probably heard that song before, and if you haven't, y'all haven't heard it, go listen. "Refuse Limitation." Goody Mob, one of the greatest rap groups ever to me of all time. just powerful. Another song I would say I'm gonna take from my spiritual or from my Kingdom community bag. Very eclectic spiritual and worship artist. His name is Israel Houghton. He does a lot of multicultural slash, he's another gumbo type of artist that I would say as far as in many different styles, jazz, hip hop, R&B, worship culture, all of it, gospel, so on and so forth. But he had a song called I Am a Friend of God. And the reason why that song impacted me so deeply is because a lot of times when people talk about God, they speak about God from a place of just, this man that sits high and looks low, and he's looking at and judging everything we do and where we don't and what we not. And, though I do believe the Most High does have a blueprint and a standard for how he originally intended us to exist in this earth, I simultaneously know that God's love reaches to us from right where we are.
Yeah.
And so, and then I went and read a passage that actually speaks to the fact that, in the passage, it talks about God speaking about the disciples as, I no longer just call you servant, but I call you friend. And the whole premise of that passage was basically God saying, you're not just here to serve me, but we're here to walk together as friends and brothers. And when that changed my whole perspective about me. I'm like, I'm a friend of God. God calls me a friend. That's powerful.
Powerful.
And me and God friends, that means God the homie. That means he with me everywhere I go.
Everywhere you go. Period. He is. He was there the whole time lurking and looking at us make mistakes.
So yeah, those two songs I would say, and now, of course I can name 1,000 more that I really love and have empowered and influenced me in different ways. But those two, that's what stuck out to me. Goody Mob, Refuse Limitation, and I'm a Friend of God by Israel Houghton and Newbury. Yeah.
Love it. So we're down to my final question. The question I ask every guest, and some answers, I get different answers every time, and they're amazing answers. So, if you could have a conversation with your future self, what would you say?
Continue to be as the Most High intended. Don't worry about where the chip's gonna land. That's his job.
Love it. So now we're down to your 30 seconds of fame. What I'm going to do is I'm going to play one more song by you. And after the snippet of that song, Paulo the OK, then you're going to be on the platform by yourself. I want you to let everybody know where they can find you, where they can stream your music, what's coming up for 2025 for you, and what you plan to do after that. Okay?
All right.
All right.
Whispers in the dark, come to the light, then we gon' start. So compelling to your ears, bring direction on the mark. Tuck the X upon my chest, and yes, the spirit rocks the spot. Verbal lessons manifesting, and when I'm in the jaw. Hey.
All right, it's on you.
All right, so your boy ReNaaz Peoples. You can find me on IG at ReNaaz PEOPLEZ. That's again at ReNaaz PEOPLEZ. That's also on TikTok, on Facebook. I'm ReNaaz, or aka Ray Gideon Peoples, was another one of my aliases. That's ReGideon PLOPEZ. Also, All of my music is on all streaming platforms, under ReNaaz or Ray Gideon Peoples, whichever one you choose. Mainly, most of what you find from me is under ReNaaz. It's also in my my link tree in my if you wanted to go that route in my IG, you can press that and it'll take you to all of my stuff. Also shout out to my music label that I am a part of under the flag of Real Business Music. Shout out to Tone Butter. You can also find all of my music and stuff and my things there. And I also have currently just started some movies. I'm also a film scorer, by the way, for some of those movies. One of them being this movie called Black Thunder. We're doing the world premiere on that on December 14th. Got a couple other things coming up. Some empowerment events for my brand, my Return to Black Broadway brand. That's the name of the R2BB movement, which is an arts empowerment brand for the community. Got my own podcast show as well called the Return to Black Broadway podcast show. You can find the link for that also through my link tree on IG, or you can go to Return to Black Broadway. That's RETURN 2 and then Black Broadway, BLACKBROADWAY. Return to Black Broadway podcast show. Shout out to my man AJ Throwback, who was one of my co-stars on that on our season 1. We getting ready to fire up the season 2 called Kingdom Talk real soon. So we're gonna get at y'all with that. Also got some music, official music video coming out for my latest single, Easy Like Sunday Morning. Also for Paolo. Also for the single I dropped over the summer called One Name. And we got some other projects coming out, a compilation with my Tribal Glory community as part of my brand called Oily Keys Music. And we got Olive Branch Music, which is an EP compilation that's going to be coming out probably in the spring. So the Oily Keys Music, a Holy Day EP, that's going to be out in December. So check for that. And again, you can find that on all streaming platforms. You can go to my IG, or you can go to the Real Business Music, www.realbusinessmusic.com. You can find myself and all the other artists. Shout out to the CEO, Tone Butter. All great music, movies, different things coming up, and empowerment for the people. And that's it.
Thank you so much. I'm excited. You got a lot going on. We got to make sure we stay locked in so I can make sure I can continue to support you, because you got a lot going on. I'm excited for you. I'm proud of you.
Absolutely. I love it. And thank you, Nikki, for having me. Shout out to Coach Nikki Nicole. This is an amazing show. I love your brand. It's powerful empowerment for the people. Keep doing what you're doing. Mm-hmm.
Thank you. And if there's anything that I can do for you on my end to help push you more with your music or anything you have going on, maybe you have something coming up, just drop it in my inbox and I will make sure I get it out to the people on my platform to try to bring you more awareness. So we in this together.
Absolutely. I love it.
Thank you. Thank you again. And thank you so much to everybody else out there that's tuned in to this amazing episode. Man, he's filled with a lot of wisdom, y'all. A lot. And I enjoyed having this conversation with him today. And I hope today's conversation has brought you some type of insight, encouragement, and maybe a reminder that you still can achieve whatever your heart desires. So as we continue this journey together, remember that your voice matters, your life matters, and no matter what you're trying to do in this life, everything starts with you. Utilize your 24 hours to make it happen. So I encourage you to reflect, share, and continue to break the silence in your own lives. So until next time, be blessed.
Dream bigger than your math. Dream bigger than what you have. Dream big to make space for your path. Dream bigger than your task. Dream bigger than your grasp. Dream bigger than your prize. Think yours the jungle, your problems and models and models that model this swag. Expand like a righteous tick. We kneel with a righteous dip. We stand with a righteous pitch. We live what I like to slip. We flame on a grill with fish. Drink deep as a thirst gets quenched. We lay palms and we enter in.